How's it going, everyone? It's your boy Dak Down Away, aka the Dig Dug himself. Yours truly back again with some more Monster Hunter Generations gameplay, and today we will be fighting the Seltas Queen. Now, first let me say this is Village still. We've been doing Village quests up until, well, we're still doing Village quests. We might do a few more Village quests, but we are now currently at the point in time where all the low-ranked Village quests are now gone. We will be only fighting from here on out high-rank Village quests. Now, it's up to you guys. This is what we're going to do. We can either continue doing the village quests until they're completely exhausted, meaning there's only about 4 or so more monsters. I think 2 more, and then I think 3 elder dragons that's still in the village, or we can just say forget it, move over to high rank, and then we can go and tackle all the monsters that they have in high rank online. Now, there are monsters that are online that will not appear on the village. For instance, Quechua. You cannot fight Quechua in the village, but you can fight them online in the hub. Or solo hub if you want to do that. We'll probably do village, not necessarily village, we'll probably do online, maybe rooms of 2 or 3 people. So that way, you know, to not necessarily expedite it, I'm not really want to showcase skill. I mean, I can do it myself, I've done it before. But just to make it a little bit less stressful and to just probably have some fun with it and potentially actually get you guys to come on board with me, so that way you can also find yourself in one of these videos, i.e. I will say, hey, who wants to do Quechua with me? And then you'll be like, I do. And I'm like, okay, here's the room number and lobby, and I'm going to record the video and we'll be on YouTube together, and then hooray. But anyway, that's that. We'll talk about that on a later date. But first and foremost, let's get into the Seltas Queen. I will say this though first. Like I said, this is high rank. But I am very blessed to actually get this Seltas Queen. Even though the time is very short, only 12 minutes, and it's still a high rank quest, it's only because this Seltas Queen is a short one. Short Seltas Queens, they tend to get hit with all your attacks because, well, it's a short monster. The larger Seltas Queens, they're very actually hard to hit them because the only way in which you can hit them properly is on their legs. Body hits, you, or lance anyway, body hits I probably won't even be able to reach it, so that's a bugger right there. It's happened to me quite a few times in Monster Hunter Ultimate while I fight a tall Seltas Queen, and I'm unable to hit it on its under its belly because it's just so high, and I have to relegate myself to only hitting it on its legs. And when you're fighting the Seltas Queen with the Seltas on top of it, it gets a bit difficult to do so. So just note that if your Seltas Queen is very tall, it might be a little bit harder to hit it in some cases rather than not. But regardless, let's start off at the very top, of course, with the weaknesses. Now, the Seltas Queen is an insect monster, if you will. It shoots water from its mouth, and normal things that actually have, you know, things with water are susceptible to that of fire. Seltas Queen is necessarily no different. I'm not talking so much about the Misuni, but or Mr. Bubbles, whatever you want to call him. But Seltas is, you know, vulnerable to that of fire, thunder, and ice. It is one of those monsters with 3 weaknesses. You can choose either of these weaknesses and you'll be relatively fine because it has a pretty decent weakness on all of them. That being said, its weapons are of high caliber. I will totally agree with that sentiment, absolutely, because it has water and pretty good defense. So straight up, when it comes down to water weapons, you're fighting. It is in close proximity with that of the Nimble Snarf. So if you've actually didn't decide to get Nimble Snarf weapons because you just don't like the way they look, you can run you some Seltas because they pretty much give you the same benefits. Really good water, really good defense, really good attack, just really good weapons. They're almost mirrors. I mean, granted there's differences, you know what I mean, that there's always going to be a difference. One weapon might be stronger here, this monster may not have a particular weapon but this one does, things like that. So it's it's totally up to preference if you want to choose his weapons or not. I really do like this monster's weapons. It has really good gun lance that I'm definitely going to try and make. I'm actually in works of making that right now. As we speak, I'm grinding this monster for armor and its weapons. So speaking about its armor is that of gun lance type. So if you or if you're a charge blade user, you can definitely get some mileage out of this monster's weapon. Now, again, like I said, this is a high rank monster. It does not have a low rank variant. So there's only one armor type that you can actually possibly get from this guy. We're not going to talk about the type of variants just yet, but for right now, you can use this high rank armor, and it'll give you artillery expert, hero shield, and razor sharp. Now, artillery expert, that's as high as it goes. There is no artillery god. So anybody who benefits from artillery at all is going to be in good hands here. So this is good. So if you've been waiting for an artillery set that's pretty decent all around, look no further. I mean, Seltas is great. On top of the fact that this monster's armor looks similar to that of like Japanese anime robot characters like Voltron or the Megazord or whatever, from like Power Rangers and stuff. Oh, forgot where I was going with that tangent. Anyway, its armor is really good. So, as a Gunlance user like myself, I'm going to be using the armor as well. If you like charge blades and you want to really, you know, maximize your effectiveness with your explosions or whatever, you can use it as well because the artillery expert, as high as it goes. And you also have razor sharp, so shelling for Gunlances, and I guess using the charge blade files don't deplete your sharpness as much. I think that's how it works with the files. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I don't use the charge blade, but that's that. Now, it's one cool ability is Hero Shield. You no longer take damage from petty things. Alright, oh my goodness. I need to do some more research on this skill, per se. I need to mess with it myself. But the description on it says that you don't take damage from, like, little unknown, like have you ever been playing Monster Hunter and you've been hit by something so stupid? Just the craziest of things. It'll be like a random Jaggy biting you or whatever, and it actually does damage. Well, Hero Shield negates stuff like that. It negates the smaller things that actually could affect you to where it will not affect you at all. So that's a huge plus in my book. When I saw that skill, I was like, I need this skill. Hands down, one of my favorite skills so far. But let's move over from armors and weapons, and let's actually get down to the meat and potatoes of this monster technically. Now, the Seltas Queen is a very tough monster to fight. I mean, I beat it in short time, but then again, it's only because it was a short one, and every single attack that I probably thrust at him, it actually hit. But I will say that when fighting the Seltas Queen, you're not just fighting the Seltas Queen by herself, you're fighting the Seltas Queen and the Seltas. Now, I strongly suggest you don't necessarily worry about the Seltas, because the Seltas Queen can actually summon more Seltas. So if you do decide to kill the Seltas, within about a minute or so, the Seltas Queen will say, "Where's another Seltas?" and then she'll summon him to her, and then you have to deal with all the madness all over again. So I would suggest like not fighting the Seltas, but focusing all your efforts on the Seltas Queen. Granted, when they come together, they literally come together like Voltron and have additional attacks and things that they actually do. Now, the Seltas itself is actually a very slow monster, susceptible to getting hit and, well, not getting stuck in thunder traps, shock traps, and pitfall traps, and being easily, you know, dodged by her attacks. They have lots of wind up. You can see them from a mile away. They're highly telegraphed, and she isn't very fast, like I said. But when she's coupled with the Seltas, they actually have the ability of flight. Now, granted, it's not full-on flight, but they do actually, you know, fly around the arena doing a multitude of attacks. She is no longer susceptible to pitfall traps because the Seltas, who acts independently while standing on top of her, will actually just fly her out of the trap. It's pretty crazy. So try not to use pitfall traps. You can totally run shock traps because they're gonna work 9 times out of 10. You can't be picked out of a shock trap, so just go for that. Now, when the Seltas actually acts on top of the Seltas Queen, they change up the moveset a little bit. These Seltas can act as a turret, if you will, because they'll sit on top of the Queen and actually shoot these balls of, I guess, some sort of insect stuff. What if you get hit with these balls? You're gonna lose some stamina, and you could potentially lose some defense as well. So try not to get hit by it, even though he's going to constantly rain you with it. He shoots it in Arcs 3, and he's gonna be doing it as often as he totally can. Now, when you get closer to the Seltas Queen to fight it in close quarters, the Seltas himself will actually try to attack you from on top of the Queen, be it in a manner of slapping his claws down on top of you or trying to scissor cut you, much similar to that of what the Crustaceans, the Hermitaur, and the Centaur could do. Granted, though, I will say this: if you are going to fight the Seltas Queen, be very cautious of what the Seltas himself can do on top of the Queen, because that is what really makes her such a formidable threat. She hits very hard, all by herself. Don't get me wrong, she hits very hard. But having to deal with the madness that is the Seltas on top of the Seltas Queen can be a lot of frustrating instances as well. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pay much heed to that of the Seltas himself. Take notice of what he actually does when he's on top of the Queen. If he lowers his head and uses his own horn as like a digging tool, not necessarily a digging tool, but like a means of, you know, charging, they are going to do that particular charge attack until they make contact with you, or will only actually go for the attack 3 times. So think of it similar to that of a Raytheon or Rathalos charge, where they'll charge once, charge twice, and then charge for the 3rd time. They are the same way in this regard as well. But other than that, there's pretty much most of the stuff I can tell you about the Seltas Queen. There's a couple of other things, but for the most part, you can see these things coming. They're not very prominent things to truly and honestly talk about, but I believe from what I've given you so far, you should be relatively okay when fighting the Seltas. Regardless, everyone, it's been your boy Dak908, aka the Dig Dug himself, and as always, may the Desire Center forever be in your favor. And as I speak, the new DLC for this game has just came out, so in the coming day, maybe 2 days, because there's a lot of DLC, I will cover all the DLC for you, showing you what you can get, what you receive, and how to do it. But with that being said, it's been your boy, and as always, take care.